Howdy, folks! We have an exciting Rifts Atlantis update for you. What are these print production drafts are in, or these final copies are in? We've got stuff from the printers we want to show you. So
yeah,
it's
these are
very
production
exciting.
copies. So these are finished, and this is what is going to be arriving soon.
Oh, that is awesome. So yeah, we will get into the unboxing very quickly. But before we do, so that we have our copies, Simon, tell us, when are the backers hopefully going to be getting their copies?
Well, I can't say exactly when, but I know for a fact we are clearing customs right now, and then they will have I don't know how long that's going to take exactly, but once that's through, it'll be shipped to Studio 2. They need to receive it, unbox it, sort it into all of the backer packages, and then they'll start mailing those out. So we hope by the end of the month that we'll be ready to ship to backers.
That'd be awesome. So if not end of June, like happy 4th of July, people.
Oh yeah, that's holiday. What we're hoping that Studio 2 will be able to turn it around before the end of the month. But yeah, we'll keep you updated.
That is most excellent. So show off what you got there, Simon. Everyone wants to hear the thud of the things banging on your desk before Sean tears into his box. All right.
Oh, well, I have a copy left for me. The rest went to Sean. We get 3 copies in advance, so.
Oh, fantastic. And I mean, and that's wounded. I mean, like since the last time we saw you.
I can only do that with one hand. Yeah, I couldn't lift the pawns as well. There's so many of them. This arm doesn't work.
Yeah, work-related incident. Simon was deadlifting the pawns and ripped off his bicep tendon. So yeah, fun. So, careful, people. There are so many pawns. Both hands, lift with your back.
Yeah, we should have filmed.
No, lift with your knees, not with your back. Whatever. Don't listen to the advice. Well, Simon, thank you for stopping by and letting us know what time we'll be able to get these books and doing these satisfying thud. And then you're off for other things like getting your bicep prepared and raising children and stuff. So,
thanks. Enjoy, Sean.
Thanks, Simon. Cheers.
So Sean, it's time. Let's dig in. Let's see what is in this box, Senor.
Okay, so I didn't cheat. I didn't open this yet. I waited until we did the unboxing video, even though it came in about a day, 2 days ago, over the weekend. So let me cut in here. Now this is a bigger box. Like Simon said, I have 2 copies in here. So I'm surprised.
That's good. One you could leave the cellophane on and get lots of money for riffs when it's a year from now and people can't get their hands on it. I mean, the sales numbers are really brisk, and I think like one of the things we were talking about at the Monday meeting was that there's a whole new print run for the riff stuff, and they're going to be like a whole box set with empty boxes and put books in.
Yeah, there's we ran out of the collector's box set with the core books and materials in there, so they did a whole print run of those materials to put more of the core 3 books into that box set. If I remember all the details, but yeah, it was just one of those things where that was so popular with fans that we've had to figure out a way to make that happen, even with all the crazy production and logistics delays right now. Oh man, this looks great. Okay. I'll move this to the side here, but it is a lot. Oh wow. So we have first item up is the book, Atlantis and the Demon Seas.
I love that Aaron Riley cover. It's fantastic.
Yeah, he really outdid himself. I was kind of a jerk. I said, "Hey, do you like Keith Parkinson?" He's like, "Yeah, I love Parkinson." I'm like, "Can you do a cover like Parkinson?" And he really nailed it. I mean, he really nailed it. It's a beautiful,
that's so good.
Beautiful art.
So it's on the cover and on the interior pages. I love it.
It's on it's also on the end sheets right here.
Nice.
Just like with the other Adventure Edition, the 2nd edition of the Savage Rifts material. So we did that also. Simon made sure that happened with most of the books in that. I think all of them. But I know that the 3 world books, Empire's Humanity, Blood and Banes, Arcana and Mysticism, all had that as well. But yeah, this looks great. This is a great printing. 192 pages of gaming goodness. And this covers, for those who may be new to the party or missed out, this covers the continent of Atlantis, all the crazy Greeblies there, Cthulhu-esque monsters and bad guys. plus it covers the Demon Seas and the greater oceanic stuff that's going on in Rifts. So you have the new Navy, which is a remnant of the United States Navy and Marine Corps that runs around in a super, you call that like a super carrier that's submersible, called the USS Ticonderoga.
Because Rifts, right?
Because Rifts, yeah, that's how we do it. It has just to flip through some of the chapter headers. It's got, with the character options, it's got the Bioborg, so you can get your character completely bio wizardried up by the bad guys, the Slugorth, and escape to fight against them. We have a really great gear section. This book has as much gear as the Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide.
Ooh.
So there's a ton of including an entire page of new vehicle weaponry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff for underseas and nautical combat, as well as boats and ships, and the fan favorite creepy bio wizardry weapons and stuff that the Slugorth make. So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff like that, as well as new rules for handling underwater combat. And tattoo magic as well, with a whole bunch of tattoo magic ready for players to build their characters with. We also have we fit in some underwater salvage rules, rules for shimmering water and dimensional triangles. So how do ley lines and rifts, how does that affect you when you're running around in the water? And so these, I had a lot of fun writing up these, so they're a lot of fun. We also have a couple of new powers that are optional. We added in energy disruption and remote viewing.
Nice. I like that. That's a cool concept.
I like it. It's fun. And we have rune items. So rune weapons, rune items of lore from Rifts that you can wield. Or have your enemies wield against the players. And then let's see, we've got some really beautiful art in here, like this depiction of Atlantis. Kevin, it knocked Kevin's socks off. He really loved it. He said, that's just a great depiction of Atlantis. We have, and each one of these chapters, like the Atlantis chapter, has its own savage tale, and has plenty of enemies like the Conservators and the Slugorth High Lords, all your favorites, the Metzla, and all types of stuff. The Demon Seas includes a lot of your seafaring bad guys, like the Haroon Pirates and the Not Yul. We've got all their stats and their information, how that they interact with the Slugorth and the other factions in the book. And that's one thing that a lot of players who are maybe Rifts lore buffs really enjoyed about this book, and some of the feedback I got was they enjoyed really seeing how all the different factions tie together in this book, because it's one thing to read, and a lot of the hooks and stuff are in there in the original Palladium books, but when you go read Rifts Underseas, and then it's a few years until something like Lemuria or the New Navy or something is touched upon in another book and brought up again. And so we've done that work for you. I've kind of crossed the streams for you, so you can see Kevin and I have just talked about any new wrinkles that are in there, or filled in any of the gaps that need to be filled in. So you can have a lot of fun with it. You can have a lot of these things working together in a really clean way, and it's all presented here at the same time for the players. We have a whole chapter on Lemuria, and the floating city of Mu and the other floating cities. We have we have options for playing like the Serpent Hunters and different of the Lemurian race members, as well as a fun adventure there. And you get to also have the stats for Davy Jones and Lulu, which are underwater undead. So that's a lot of fun. Then there's Humanity at Sea, includes the New Navy. A lot of great art there. And let me see. Man, it was a lot of fun working on this. And then last but not least, also we have Captain Nemo Dobson, Captain Nemo 2, captain of the USS Ticonderoga, who's been transformed by weird ley line energy into an immortal being. And then there's the plot point campaign with Spartacus,
Spartacus!
Yeah. So, and he is wielding a sword of Atlantis, a mystic sword of Atlantis. But yeah, a lot of fun. The plot point campaign, the heroes can jump in and be part of a slave uprising against the Sugorth. And then there's a really great bestiary and creature section. We've got all the new NPC types, plus a lot of different crazy monsters and bio wizardry or bio, what is that called? Not bio wizardry. Oh man, now my brain is melting down. Let's see, biomancy creatures created by the Lemurians as well, like the Thrall Sea Serpent. So yeah, a lot of stuff for everybody to use in this new book. And let me get to the next item.
Yeah, it's great seeing it finally in print, isn't it? Like it's actually real after all that work.
It's so weird when it's only electronic, because the funny thing is I do most of my work straight into InDesign, especially for Savage Worlds products. And so when you're doing that, you're used to seeing it. You output a PDF, it doesn't feel, there's not that same feeling as when you're holding the physical book in your hand and it has you can feel the different texture of everything. It's nothing like seeing the art come together. And speaking of art, I'm really excited to check out. Got 2 map packs in this box set.
Yeah.
Let me open this up. But yeah, these maps, I'm really stoked to see these. Because our artists at Sigil did a really great job on these, and I can't wait to see these in print. Nice and huge.
Yeah, no, for folks out there, if you love our maps and you are able to create something in the same style, we are hiring for people to make more maps because, I mean, not a secret, we're doing more riffs and we're doing more sci-fi. So the PEG Portfolios, PEGPORTFOLIOS at gmail.com. Shoot your portfolio there, and you might get hired to make some maps for us. So
yeah, it'd be good to work with you.
Ooh.
So this is massive. But this is the outside of an Atlantean temple. So
that's
you
gorgeous.
or a pyramid, right? So you can see the kind of gardens in front of the pyramid and fight your way through the steps up to a pyramid, as I have in one of the adventures. And then we have, on the flip side, is the pyramid's interior of one of the magical pyramids. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Usually when you find these sort of powerful temples or pyramids or anything like that, the maps have them, they're ruined, they're destroyed, they're knocked down. There's vines growing everywhere. Not on this. This is fresh and clean up to the entrance of the pyramid. So yeah, I think you could also use it for a temple. It's so beautiful, an Egyptian one. But yeah,
there are active baddies who want you not alive.
Exactly, and this is how they control space and time, is through these giant magical stone pyramids. So yeah, this could be. I mean, you could use this for a lot of stuff, and yeah, it's accurate as well to the Rifts lore. So I think that people who love Rifts are going to love this and get a ton of mileage out of it, as well as people who are just looking for something like that. It's weird that you don't see things like that usually depicted in good repair. Usually they're torn down and broken and stuff like that.
I love seeing how large those maps are. I mean, like when you tell people the dimensions, it just doesn't click nearly as much as this is a nice big play mat that you can really have some battles on.
Yeah, I mean this is a full table. You've got everything you need, and there's plenty of room too. And the nice thing is you've got plenty of range, so weapons start to go out of range and things like that. There's a lot of space around there to move different characters or vehicles or different people on. Yeah, these maps are huge. They really are. They transform your tabletop. And then this is one that we really wanted to work on and get down for the players, because this is a post-apoc. This is Map Pack 1, Ruined City. The other one is called Map Pack 2, Atlantis Pyramid. But here,
so this one is not in good repair.
This is not in good repair. But one of the things that's kind of hard to find is a post-apocalyptic map of a town or ruins that you can battle through that have been either partially reclaimed or not, and are a total mess. But really good. We wanted to add something like that so that Rifts fans, it's hard to find good post-apocalyptic maps, and this is something that I think, and it's again, it's got lots of space to it. It's not like buildings. A lot of times when you get stuff like this, you'll get buildings that are like right on top of each other, and they're shrunk. They're nothing near the right scale. We think this is a good medium ground where you can have the right kind of scale with the territory to battle through in a ruin. But yeah, that's something that I think that wherever you're gaming in Rifts, or if you're playing, any other post-apocalyptic setting, I think that you could get some mileage out of this map pack too. So really cool to see those both in print. I mean, like I said, they're so detailed.
Yeah,
there's so
and they're that nice thick.
detail.
They're thick and they're laminated. So
they're thick and laminated, and you look at this, right? I mean, just it's so cool. But yeah, just having the vehicles and the different areas and the buildings be to a more realistic scale, I think really adds a lot to combat for a gritty game like Rifts. And last but not least, wait. Before we do that, I'll do the pawn set last. Next, we have the smaller poster map for Atlantis. So as you're journeying through the continent of Atlantis, which is pretty big, I mean, it's up there approaching the size of something like Australia. It's a pretty big place. So you can take this and take a look at it. And we have the scale down here as well, and points you off to the different nearby continents. And for instance, we've got a full map of North America now with the last Kickstarter release. So you could pair this with the North America map and have a lot of fun traveling. And we've broken it up similarly by hexes. So it's easy to parse where your party might be on that map. And on the other side, waste not, want not, we've got a big blow up of the beautiful cover art.
Hey, it's a reason to pick up an extra one of those too, right? So you can have both on your wall.
That's a good point. We have a lot of people to do that. And last but not least,
the pawn box. The best thing about this pawn box is this isn't just the Atlantis pawns. This is like making up time for all the pawns we did not release for the earlier releases. So
right. So pawns is a new thing that Pinnacle has started doing, and I haven't seen these yet, so you're about to get my genuine reaction to the Rifts pawns, but I have seen the Deadlands pawn set and used them at Expedition Deadwood, and actually also at the Palladium open house recently. And so that was really fun to use those pawns. They're really great. If you're not familiar with it, they're they're die cut. So they are cut to fit the shape of the art. They have front and back art for the vast majority of the pawns that it makes sense to have it. Some of the bigger creatures, the front and back art doesn't change because it's more of a profile view. Yeah. But no, they're beautiful. And we have some top-down pieces in here. And that's how we decided to tackle larger vehicles on the playing field, on the battlefield. And this set,
I love that because then you can put your character pawns on top of the vehicles. So you can know where you are in the vehicles too. So,
or you could be on top of a vehicle in a chase too, right? Yeah, so, because I don't know, that seems to happen all the time in Rifts. It's what starting adventure doesn't include the players climbing on top of a Coalition Mark V APC. Let's see. I can't remember exactly how many are in here. Does it say on the back? This is we called it a mega pawn set because it has 12 sheets.
Wow.
Instead of 8 for the Deadlands pawn set. So yeah, if you can see it here, Rifts pawn set 1. Ooh. And then this is the back. It looks really great too if you want to put it on your shelf. I think that the design is really awesome. Yeah, and as you said, we did want to try and backfill. This has a lot of everything you'll want, I think, for Atlantis, or the most common stuff you would want for Atlantis. But it also backfills a lot of things that we already had art for, or we could get art prepared for, to cover the original Savage Foes of North America, the different iconic frameworks that we have for heroes, so that you can represent most of your heroes on the tabletop with what is here. So one of the things that I think is really great, it looks like we have, the official number is 108 different pawns, which is pretty crazy. Now, some of those there's more than one of the same, right? And I'll show you all that in just a moment. So, for instance, if you have a squad of Coalition soldiers or a little group of Zytikic or something. But yeah, this is a really great, handy-dandy recognition sheet, so you can know what each thing is supposed to be representing. Again, all of this was coordinated with my friends here at Palladium Books before I joined Palladium Books. But yeah, no, this is all, we worked with Kevin very closely and the art team at Sigil very closely, and did a lot of custom things to make sure that we were doing the best we could to represent Rifts, which is very iconic and has a very unique look to it. But now in full color, right? And for these pawns with front and back art for them. So let me pop this open.
Wow, that's a brick of sheets.
It is huge. It is huge. This is crazy. Yeah, this is massive. So it's it's actually pretty heavy.
I mean, that is so on point for Rifts, though, right? Like Rifts, the game's so deadly.
It has to be a mega pawn set, right? I mean,
no wimpy 3 sheets of pods. We're going for 12.
Right. Now, in future pawn sets, we are going to, and I'm currently working on this right now, and we can talk about some of the stuff we've got coming up in the future. Terror on the Dark Frontier and Land of a Thousand Islands, South America. And so we will be backfilling more of the classic Rifts monsters and different things like that are in Savage Foes of North America, and some of them that are coming in Terror on the Dark Frontier. It actually has quite a few iconic and famous Rifts monsters that we hadn't had the chance to get to yet. So, but we'll go through here one by one. So the first page. So you've got a lot of your classic stuff: your Glitter Boy, Cyber Knight, Juicer, Burster, Leyline Walker, Borg, and these are all very carefully. We also worked really carefully on the sizes of the characters. As you can see, the Glitter Boy and the Crazy and the Combat Cyborg, right? They all have those different sizings that help differentiate what their presence is on the battlefield, right?
And it's very Rifts that the Glitter Boy is actually not the largest figure on the page. Like, we just gotta throw in a drag and just keep the Glitter Boys, humble.
And the cool thing is here is there is unique back art for the hatchling as well, the Glitter Boy, all of them. So yeah, the team worked really hard. I worked with them to get all the references they needed. So we have all of this has been approved by Pinnacle, by Kevin, or by, I should say, Palladium, by Kevin and I. And so, yeah, it is definitely depicting this stuff with a lot of detail that people may not have, maybe very happy to see. Next sheet, we've got multiple Dog Boys. We've got some Tomorrow Legionnaires over here. We have the Coalition equipment and characters that are in this set are your standard old style Coalition. When we did the Adventure Edition update to the Savage Foes of North America, we made sure the art and the statistics that are in there are the old style Coalition gear. If you're looking for newer Coalition stuff, or some of the expanded Coalition characters that didn't make it into Savage Foes of North America, you can check out Empires of Humanity. So this also covers some of those, but it doesn't cover the new style body armor and things like that for Coalition. And then we've got soldiers and militia. We've got Simvan, mutant barbarians, Magic Zone mercenaries. And mixed through here are a lot of individual pawns that will recognize for the different races and race art from the main book. The next page, and again, these all have unique back art as well. So again, a lot of everything from a murder wraith all the way down to cowboy gunslingers, coalition sergeant. And then the nice thing in this set is we have a coalition squad. So you've got 3 infantrymen, a sergeant, and a gunner, a heavy gunner, which was the infantry and the heavy gunner I'll find on a different sheet. Oh man, there's a lot of sheets. But yeah, we've got the Zytikic, we've got Archie's robots, then lots of different. We also have Broadkill. I know those are a common fun thing for players to battle, and it's not on this sheet, but we have your normal Broadkill, and then we also have a Broadkill leader with cybernetics. Let's see, Shamarian, mounted on the Monster X and dismounted. Power armor like this, common power armor like the Samson, the Hunter mobile gun, Flying Titan. We've got the Coalition Sky Cycle. Now, Mountaineer Mark II. Here's the Broadkill leader, an enforcer.
So
Yeah, and this is one of my favorites from the new art. The Devil Unicorn. It's just a cool monster, and it's great to see it again. As you can see, these are sized appropriately so that when compared to a human-sized enemy, it looks really cool. It'll look really cool. I think it's going to look really cool on the tabletop or on virtual tabletops as well, right? So we're really excited to bring all these to the table. Right now I'm working on Titan Robotics. This is the Titan combat robot. So it towers over the battlefield, and some Vernulians. And also, as you can see here, we have a Coalition Mark V APC that you can use in your games. And I don't know about you, but it always seems like the players are either fighting a Mark V APC or then capturing a Mark V APC and hopefully repainting it, or else you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But it's a really great to have this and to have it properly sized so that you can actually map out how you're having a battle, maybe even inside the vehicle while it's driving around on the map. But since it's flat, that's really easy to accomplish. Then, yeah, we've got Samus, Coalition Heavy Gunner, Coalition Psy Stalker, which you didn't have before, and 5 grunts. So we thought, hey, I thought we had 3. Looks like we were able to fit 5 in. Jess was able to fit a few more in. Same thing for Altara Warrior Women. We have 5 of those. We have zombies, post-apocalyptic zombies, as well as post-apocalyptic skeletons that have risen from the grave with their pre-apocalypse armor and rifles. And this has a lot of the characters from Atlantis. So we actually have 2 tattooed ogres so that you can use in your games. Plenty of big monsters here as well. Plenty of Haroon pirates or Not-Yil soldiers. Also, we've got just plenty of the different Katana and other enemies that you might run into in Atlantis or the Demon Seas. So I know a lot of people bought 5 is a good number. We wanted to be able to cover as much as possible. I think 5 is a good number, but I know a lot of people did buy multiple sets of the pawn set so that they could depict large battles with 10 or more. And then, for instance, with this set, you could have 20. Well, if you include the dog boys, if you had 2 sets, yeah, just with this set by itself, you could have a lot of coalition on the table at once. You got a Psy Stalker, the dog boys, and then you can have 5 of the coalition Skelelots. You've got 5 infantry, a sergeant, a heavy gunner. Yeah, you can go a long way with this one set, a Mark V. Yeah, lots of stuff. Then we also have a lot more of the Greeblies from Atlantis and the Demon Seas. So, and I think this would be fun for anybody could use this and take this and put it into their Savage Worlds game as new monsters other people might not be familiar with, right? You might want to tone down the stats a little bit because this stuff tears up tanks, like modern tanks.
It's good
and futuristic stuff. So yeah, you got to be ready. But a lot of really cool monsters, very well. It's fun, and it's fun to see them at these sizes too. It just really makes, because we had this this Metzla in that big combat when we did the live actual play, and then the Mervolva, the little ones. So that can be fun. And then we also have a couple of Katana Serpent power armor, their most popular and common armor, as well as a Splugorth slave barge as seen from above.
That is super cool.
You could have everyone battling with the Altaran warrior women and heroes battling on the slave barge. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, that's that's it.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's impressive. Oh, yeah, no wonder it makes a thunk on the table. Those are I love that they're all in color. No painting involved. You can get them right out of the box, right under your table. And so all this is available in pre-order now for anybody who didn't back the campaign. As Simon said earlier on the broadcast, that we're hoping to get these out by the end of June and to start shipping. So that is fantastic. And then once again, tell us what are the next projects. So tell us again about Here on the Dark Frontier, and then all the South America stuff, just for one last little review.
Yeah, so we've previously revealed that the next world book, similar to Atlantis and the Demon Seas or the 3 North America world books, that the next one on tap is South America. It's called the Land of 1,000 Islands, which is how the natives of South America refer to the region in the setting, because the rising sea levels means that South America itself has been turned into over 1,000 islands that are all nearby and next to each other. It's a splintered land, if you will, in that way. But like Atlantis and the Demon Seas, it has we have most of the writing is done. It is going into preliminary layout right now. And it has, you've got your character options up front. We've got things like the Godling, the Line Warrior, a lot of fun stuff. And then we come into the equipment section. There's a lot of equipment, and I think we're going to have enough equipment that you could basically run a campaign in South America without needing to refer to other books, whether it's everything from light, medium, heavy body armor, common pistols and different weapons. The only thing that you might want to look at the player's guide for is some of the common equipment or vibro weapons and stuff like that. But there's a lot of unique stuff in this book. And then each chapter after that, there's the lore chapters. Each one has a savage tale. It has info on that region from Colombia down to other parts of South America, the invading Archons, the Aztec, or not the Aztec, I'm sorry, the Incans, the Empire of the Sun. And so we've got all those different factions, each, they're broken into different chapters with a savage tale in them, a plot point campaign, and then a bestiary. So when I say world book, it's everything you need. It's a 4-course meal, right? For the game master and the players to really be able to dive in and enjoy that region. Something that's really cool that Kevin and I are excited about is that this is the book when the original 2 South America books were written. Oh, and the other thing I'll throw in there is it does have biomancy. It has a lot of the rules for biomancy, which I couldn't fit into Atlantis and the Demon Seas. Since the Lemurians do use biomancy, this is going to have a lot more of the expanded rules for that. But the other big thing is that this book, when it was written, it was fairly early in the Rifts timeline, which slowly has expanded over the years. It's when the first Rifts book was, the first Rifts role-playing game was published, the original role-playing game was set in 101 PA, post-apocalyptic. And it slowly marched forward. 105 PA is when there was the Coalition War campaign, which introduced a lot of the new body armor and weapons that are, say, in Empires of Humanity. And so the Savage Rifts books are all set in 109 PA. So it's been about a decade in the Rifts timeline. Well, when the South America books were written, they were set in 102, 103 PA.
Oh,
and
so
there
there's
was a
a lot of
lot
update.
of events that were ramping up, right? And so I went through and carefully looked through that, and we had some of the other authors give some ideas, and we have some really cool stuff that Kevin has approved. Yes, this is going to be canon. These are the canon fallout of these different events and progression of the Rift's lore. That I think that the other books there, like the North America books, Atlantis, these other ones, there's a little bit of new lore introduced in those books. But with this one, there's going to be a lot of new lore and events that have happened that the old school Rift fans will be able to appreciate. And Kevin's really excited about all that too. So we're super stoked about that. Along with that is we're going to be having the Rifts Pawn Set 2, which is going to fill out more. Obviously, it's similar to this first one. It's going to have all the core stuff you want for Atlantis. Or this one has all the core stuff you want for Atlantis, right? It's going to have all the core stuff you want for South America. It also is going to backfill things that we didn't get a chance to do, or which weren't even illustrated before in a Savage Rifts product for the Savage Foes of North America books. So we've got like the Rhino Buffalo and some of the other monsters and enemies that weren't introduced yet or weren't illustrated yet. The rules are introduced, but we didn't have an illustration for everything then. Now it's going to be another massive pawn set like this that's just going to have tons of stuff. So you can do anything that you would need to do is the goal. Any of the core factions or groups from South America and catching up on a lot of North American stuff and backfilling that. Simon and I have some plans. We'll see how it goes. These production, sometimes you try and do something cool and it doesn't work out, but we're trying something cool with the Coalition Spider Skullwalker, which we hadn't gotten to do yet. So that is, I think, going to be something really cool in this box for the Pawn Set 2. The other thing that I think a lot of fans will enjoy in Pawn Set 2 is that it's going to have the new style 105 PA Coalition War Campaign, Coalition body armor and weapons and stuff like that, as well as filling out the roster of more things that appeared in, say, Empires of Humanity. Then we also have, so besides South America, the other thing that we've announced and we've talked about is Terror on the Dark Frontier. And this is something that's very unique for Rifts. It's the first time that there's ever been a boxed adventure campaign for Rifts, whether for Savage Rifts or Palladium Rifts. And so Shane and Kevin are both really excited about it, as am I. And on the vein of Horror at Headstone Hill, right, which has been very popular with Deadlands and very good stuff. So Terror on the Dark Frontier is going to be set in the Coalition, what would you call that? The Coalition territories, the Coalition frontier, north of Texas, Oklahoma and Kansas, in between the Coalition controlled areas of Texas and Arkansas and Missouri, and then up towards Chi-Town, Illinois area. So there's that section in there. But the really interesting thing about that is you have Coalition settlers moving into that frontier, and they're occupying very similar space right next to the Comanche Nation, the Comanche in Preserve in the Rifts timeline. This is a really cool place to explore a lot of stories and have a lot of New West type content for traditional and Spirit West content for traditional Rifts players, or those that might be familiar with the larger backstory and more, as well as you're going to see things like the Witchling and other monsters that hadn't been depicted yet. There will be rules for those in here, as well as Wired Gunslingers and the Paradox Shaman, and some different ideas and options for your crazies or your combat cyborgs that weren't presented yet in Savage Rifts. So it's going to have a lot of cool player-facing stuff, a really big adventure campaign that I think has 19 adventures in a series. Yeah, it's a lot. And then there are also other adventure prompts and Savage Tales that you can run off to the side of that, and encounter tables for a really fleshed out region. We want this to be something that the players could just go into the region and adventure around, and then maybe get caught up in the core plot line. Or you could have a game master that says, let's go straight into that core plot line, right? We want it to be an area that is really fleshed out for players and game masters alike to have a lot of fun adventuring and fighting new monsters and enemies. And there is a new threat to the region in Terror on the Dark Frontier, so we're excited about that as well. And the other cool thing about it is it is going to have its own map. It looks like we're going to have a map, as well as I'm not exactly sure the exact number of pawns, but we are going to have multiple pawn sheets in there to depict the pawns for the monsters and creatures in that box set. So if you've got this box, anything that you need to pull onto the table that's new in that rule set should be there waiting for you. So like the Black Fairy, like I'd mentioned, and some of the other ones. So yeah,
that's wonderful. I'm super excited. I mean, that one, congratulations on all the greatness. Hey, what about any news from Palladium itself? I mean, we talked about a whole bunch about all the Savage Rift stuff's coming up. Any Palladium news you want to share?
Sure, I'd love to share some Palladium news. So this is the Rifter 85, and the Rifter is a publication. It's basically a collection of fan and professional writer submissions for Rifts and for the rest of the Palladium books settings, which, as you might know, we have everything from fantasy to superheroes, right? All types of stuff, Cthulhu type. Supernatural investigators, beyond the supernatural, zombies. But the Rifter is really cool. It previously was a quarterly publication. It was been on hiatus for a couple of years. And when I joined the team here at Palladium, one of the great things that we did, that Kevin had me do, is jump in, and we've got a new Rifter out, Rifter number 85. And we've moved it from being a quarterly publication to a yearly publication, an annual. And so the difference, though, is previously the Rifter was usually around, say, 96 pages. Well, this is a 224-page book that has tons of extra material for all your favorite Palladium game settings, with lots of new art and adventures. And we're really satisfied with the quality of stuff that was submitted. There's actually some, interestingly about the art, there's actually some Kevin Long art that was never previously seen. He's a fan favorite. We have him credited in here, but yeah, some art that he did decades ago that just fans hadn't seen it yet. We've got one of my favorite things is one of my friends that I went to when I went and studied graphic design and visual design. He did some art for this. You have a few articles on the Glitter Boy, expanding Glitter Boy lore, and talking about the Glitter Boy Brotherhood, how to repair and maintain Glitter Boys. Lots of really cool stuff in here. Yeah, it's neat. I have a short article in here about how to use Palladium games rules to run Savage Rift's adventures. So we've kind of done that the other way around, where if you're a Palladium books fan who's moved into Savage Worlds, we have the free PDF, How to Savage Your Favorite Rifts Ideas. Well, now this is the other direction, right? How to take the different Savage Worlds rules. And in general, it's a pretty easy thing to do, but I've got some specific things about how to deal with things like wild cards in a combat, how to deal with skill rolls. With Savage Worlds has the concept of raises. Right, and just some little things that people may not be used to if they haven't ever played Savage Worlds before. So the Palladium fan can grab, because I know we have a lot of Palladium fans that are super stoked about the pawn sets, the maps, the adventure material, and this is again just a little link here to give you the information you might need if you're one of those Palladium fans who enjoys the Savage Rift material as well. But yeah, lots of great articles. This is a really great book, a chunky 224 pages. We also have just released as well Coalition Manhunters. And so this is the first source book we dropped in a little while because the pandemic, was tough for everyone and really affected production here at Palladium. And so this is another 224 pages of really awesome material about the Coalition. And Manhunters is about these secret assassination teams and psychic teams that work directly for the Emperor of the Coalition. It has a lot of information about living in the coalition, right? Who's watching? Who's watching the watchers? How are there's a lot of hidden defenses against the supernatural. Should it try to infiltrate or puppet or control coalition states personnel or citizens, or get into a city or anything like that. There's a lot of information in here on that, a lot of expanded psychic powers, as well as just a lot of really great lore. One of my favorite things is actually at the very end of the book. It's a what do you call it, like a very, very short story, a scene where the emperor is hearing about a dire prediction from one of his most powerful precognitive psychics, and they have a really interesting discussion that informs a whole bunch of the Rift's lore and the plot line as it has marched forward and continues to march forward. So 2 really cool books that we've got that I think that Savage Rift fans will enjoy, and as Palladium fans, Pinnacle fans that play all different types of genres. Well, the Rifter has a lot of cool ideas for all different types of genres. Again, a lot of the adventure material and stuff is easy to port over to other game systems, or to use as that secret spike. If your players are familiar with everything that's in print, something like this could be an ace up your sleeve. They won't expect you to be bringing in material from a completely different game line.
That's true. Cool, ideas in here. It's a great time to be alive if you are a Rifts fan. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of pages of new material between Savage Rifts and Palladium Rifts that are coming out, and you're a big part of that. So thanks for giving us all the stuff to play with, man. It's really exciting. So it turns out we are not done with the unboxing. There's actually some awesome things you guys are going to want to have in your collections. Don't throw the box without retrieving these, because they're really cool. What did you find, Sean?
Like I almost did. There was actually a lot of pack material in here, and I almost missed the archetype dossiers, which would have been too bad because I worked really hard on them.
Right? Too hard not to show them. They need to be shown.
Exactly. So yeah, I think I just counted them. I think there's, if I'm not incorrect, I think there's 18, 12 plus 6. Yeah, 6 for Atlantis and 12 for the previous books. So we've got the Glitter Boy, and we'll start off first. I'll show you some of the details here. Like I think this one came out really great. For instance, the Leyline Walker. So these archetype dossiers are something that you can have. Your players can play them at the table if you just want something to introduce, or throw out hey, let's pull out a Leyline Walker. You can try it out, see what it's like, or maybe in between sessions if a character, they leave the scene or something bad happens to them. But also these are great for taking to conventions, right? Or introducing new players, because you've got all your core material is referenced right here on the inside. On the cover, we've got the full art. And then on the back, you have the characters, usually like a catchphrase or a quote, and then their backstory. And so this is actually really nice. I used mock-ups that I'd made of these at Expedition Deadwood. And I even got my mom to play Savage Rifts. That was fun, but yeah, it makes it eminently approachable. And the really cool thing I found too was when you hand a dozen of these out, or 6 of them, you pick 6 of them maybe for a convention game, you hand them out. People are able to take a quick look at it, scan it for a second, and I found that people pick their characters to play in the adventure very quickly, which I thought was really fun. And then we all know Savage Worlds is very digestible. Well, you come inside, you open it up, and it has some art that ties you back to the original character on the front. And then it has the attributes, the skills, the gear. And then on the other side over here, you've got your hindrances and edges, different powers and abilities. So this makes it really easy for people to pick up and play. Or also, if you wanted to use these could be really great references if you need, say, a wilderness scout. Instead of looking them up in, say, Savage Foes of North America, you could just pull out a wilderness scout in one of these, one of the archetypes, and use that as well as a handy reference at a table. But yeah, we've got, let's see, these are going to be completely out of order. We've got the Wilderness Scout, Leyline Walker, Glitter Boy, Juicer, Undead Slayer, Tattooed Warrior, and this is a tattooed ogre, Atlantean Nomad, Burster, City Rat, Combat Cyborg, Crazy, Cyber Knight, Stone Master, Sea Inquisitor,
Ooh.
Operator, Ocean Wizard, Mystic, and Mind Melter. And the other thing I'll say about this, I was showing this to Alex Marcinizan here at Palladium Books. He's the office next door to me, and he was like, "Wow!" He said the lamination, or I don't know what you call that, that surface texture material, and then the thickness of the cardstock. I mean, these are really great. Just like with the poster maps that, or the tactical maps that y'all are familiar with. It's just, again, with Pinnacle, you've got really high quality material here that you're going to be able to use for years to come as you're gaming. But yeah, I just want to make sure we didn't miss these because I was really excited about these. There was a lot of effort putting into designing these and fitting them on brainstorming how we could fit them onto something usable at a tabletop.
Oh, and I mean, one, they're awesome. Two, they come with their own box, so super convenient. And I just love that we're experimenting with stuff like this. I mean, like, they're awesome. I mean, I want to bring dossiers to other settings too because they're just really, really cool.
Well, yeah, and so with Deadlands, for instance, you have the archetype cards. With Rifts, we felt like there's a little too much to fit on the front and back of the card. So these dossiers are quite a bit bigger than the regular card. But the nice thing is they're still pretty, they're still legible, right? They're still legible. I mean, you can probably read this here on the video. So these are very legible. The art looks, I was surprised. That's the other thing is the art just jumps off of these.
Yeah.
It really pops. It looks great. I think it's a great way to introduce people or just to, like I said, simplify things. But no, it's a lot of fun. And we did a lot of work to condense down the language, and a lot of them have quotes. I like to do that for hindrances. If you already know what code of honor means, right, that's easy to explain to someone. Well, now we've got a little quote there too that explains kind of how that character sees that hindrance. So these are very, I think, eminently usable at your tabletop and in your role-playing sessions. So
yeah, it's a great example of how like Rifts does it bigger.
Everything's bigger. It's a mega pawn set with 50% more pawn sheets. It's a mega archetype dossier.
Archetype set, cards? Right? No.
Cards. No, we need dossier.
Twice the size. Yeah. It's so good. Well, and that is included, and you guys can order that now. So check it out.
Yep. Ready to go. So yeah, cheers.
Well, congratulations again on landing the big job with Palladium. But
Thank you.
Love seeing all this. I mean, we're so happy that we're finally getting Atlantis in print out to people. I mean, the feedback has been great in digital, but I think when people get their hands on those pawns, they'll be falling in love with the whole thing again, just seeing everything in print. So once again, so thanks again, Sean, for joining us, doing a little unboxing, and we'll have you back here soon to tease Terror on the Dark Frontier and South America. But there's a lot of really good Rift stuff out there right now. And
there is.
So, awesome. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Cheers.
Enjoy.